I'm going to take you on a safari tour of some wildlife. We are going to the Fossil Rim Sanctuary in Glen Rose, Texas. It's a facility where they take on a lot of endangered species, a lot of species that some of them that were actually extinct, and then they do some genetic breeding in their programs that they do here, and then they reintroduce them back into the wild, into places where they were previously extinct. So it's a pretty cool place. It's huge, it's gorgeous, a lot of really neat animals, and I'm going to share some of the stuff with you guys, and hopefully you enjoy the cute little faces, but also I'm going to try to be a little educational and tell you some of the info that we learned along the way as well. So enjoy. So first up, there are some ostriches over there. You can see the little guy over there and some wildebeest. So interesting to know about the ostrich that they are from southern, central, and western Africa, and they're the world's largest living bird. They're a flightless ostrich, and they use their wings mainly for communication and courtship displays and helping to turn or brake when running, because they run like 45 miles per hour, which is crazy fast. So wildebeest, there are a lot of wildebeest here, and they're pretty interesting animals. They look really like a mismatch of like everything. They're I don't know, they're so bizarre. It was so cool to see them so up close and personal there. They are from southern Kenya and Angola and northern South Africa. And their calves are up and walking at their mother's side within 15 minutes of birth. They're about 80 to 90% of wild calves are born within 2 or 3 week period of the year, which is kind of crazy. So like most of the babies are all born at the same time. And Fossil Rim, this sanctuary, is home to one of the largest captive herds in the country. And you can see a little ostrich in the back there getting close to the vehicle. I was in a rental truck, so I didn't want the animals too close to me. And I was told that the ostriches in particular were very cheeky. So I tried to stay away from them. Apparently they will stick their heads inside your vehicle and try to take anything that's inside. So I kind of steered clear a little bit, but was super cool. They gave us alfalfa pellets that we could toss down. And this next little guy that we're going to see, this is an addax. And addax are, there's isolated populations of these guys in, I don't know that I'm going to say this right, Niger. But anyways, they are critically endangered, and they are the best desert adapted of all antelopes, and an addax can live most of its life without drinking, which is crazy. So instead, they derive sufficient moisture just from the plants that they eat, and they're stark white with a distinctive brown taupe color, and Fossil Rim has over 600 addax calves since the 1970s. So they're key in kind of keeping them going. And these guys, it almost became like you had to pay your toll as you were going down the road. So basically you would drive, and you just had to drive slowly, and you could stop and look at the animals. And then these guys would actually walk up in front of your car and be like, okay, pay your toll, like give us the alfalfa pellets. So they were pretty cool. There are lots of different types of deer here. I'm not sure if I've got them all right, but I think this one is a European red deer. So red deer are closely resemble the American elk, and they're a different subspecies though. And the males have a powerful bugling, I don't know if I'm going to say that right, bugling call during their mating season that can be heard from more than half a mile away. So they're pretty darn cool animals and very, very friendly, coming all the way up to us there. This guy here, I'm pretty sure, is a Gemsbok, and Gemsbok are the largest of the 4 species of oryx, and Gemsboks are capable of surviving in a waterless wasteland. So kind of funny that he's drinking water there. And they have kind of like an African tribal mask, very distinct facial patterns. So I think it's a Gemsbok because of the way his, I don't know, horns were. And this little guy here, I'm pretty sure is a fallow deer. So fallow deer are from Turkey and Europe. And the males have branched antlers, which are shaped like an open hand. And the fallow deer coloration comes in lots of different types of colors and shades. But the color that they're born with is the color that they stay for life. So there were quite a few. This is a whole herd of fallow deer there. Their antlers, yeah, they almost look like paddles. I think they look like paddles on the ends, whereas branch antlers are totally different. If you see, that's a male that's actually calling and doing some interesting calls, but you can see the antlers kind of look like flat paddles. Versus this guy, this is a different type of deer. See how his antlers are more like branches? So this is an axis deer, and axis deer are from India and Bangladesh and Nepal and Sri Lanka. And axis deer have distinctive black markings on their faces, and they usually have a black stripe along their backs, which you can see with this guy here. And that sets them apart from the fallow deer. And also the males have branched antlers, which are different from the fallow deer that I showed you guys earlier. And you can see his black stripe. Pretty cute little guy. So some of them would come up and take the alfalfa pellets from your hands, and then some of them you just tossed on the road and they would come up. But pretty cute. And all the animals looked really, really good. I thought like they looked healthy. So that's more of the fallow deer there. He's making a noise. So I'm going to stop my voiceover for a second and see if you can hear him. So I hope you could hear the noise he was making there with the male deer. So then this little guy, super friendly, very cute little face. I'm pretty sure that this is a red deer. At least I think that's what he is. And so we saw a red deer earlier too that I thought was a red deer. And they say that they also have what they call volunteer species that volunteer themselves into the sanctuary and basically just kind of show up and then stay. So lots of interesting ones. Now doesn't this guy look super cool? This is an odid, at least I'm hoping I'm saying that right. They're considered vulnerable and they're from northern Africa, especially in Morocco and Algeria. And so the young odid can climb rocks within just a couple hours of birth. And the odid are also known as Barbary sheep and are the only African wild sheep. So they're pretty cool. These guys here, they're the Arabian Oryx, and they are considered vulnerable, and they're from Saudi Arabia and Jordan and the United Arab Emirates and Israel. And Arabian Oryx actually became extinct in the wild in 1972, and they were successfully reintroduced in Oman in 1982, and the population is stable, but poaching continues to be an ongoing problem. So super important that places like Fossil Rim do have the wildlife sanctuary so that way they can continue with breeding these animals and making stable populations so that way they're not extinct forever, because that would have been super sad that this specific breed of oryx could potentially have been gone forever because of poaching, which is really, really pretty sad. So here's a little look driving down the road. Here's an odid looking for his payment, getting his little alfalfa pellet there. They're just they check in. And here on this side here, super cool, is there's actually a little family. And I'm not sure if they're baby odids or if they're the sable antelopes. It's kind of hard for me to tell. Sable antelopes are southeastern African, and their herds of them will actually face in a circle and watch for danger while they protect the young, and sable antelopes have long curved horns. So kind of hard for me to tell if these are odids or not because I can't see their shaggy pants because they're laying down. But anyways, they might be odids or they might be sable antelopes. Here was a beautiful view of out from the sanctuary. It was huge. I don't know how many acres this place is, but it's massive and just beautiful. The lookout points, and it's really quite an impressive place to be. I totally recommend going here. There's a few more animals that I'm going to show you guys still. So these guys, I'm sorry that they are so far away and hard to see. But these guys are I'm going to say this wrong potentially, scimitar horned oryx, and they are historically from throughout northern Africa, and they are extinct in the wild. So these were believed to have become extinct in the wild in 1999, and in March of 2016, Fossil Rim participated in a large-scale reintroduction project where they tried to return the animals to their native habitat in Chad. So they're doing lots of work like that, which is pretty cool. That is that little animal there, a black buck. So this is a black buck, and they're from India, and they are near threatened. So the adult males are black or brown. While the females and the calves are light tan, and only the males have horns, which are rigid and spiraled. So these guys are considered near threatened, and they're from India. And kind of moving along there. So these guys here, these are the roan antelope, and they're from central western southern Africa. And they're one of the largest African antelope, and the roan males weigh up to 660 pounds. The females are up to 615 pounds, and roan are somewhat horse-like in appearance, they say, but they have a heavily ringed horns that curve back away over their heads. Then they also had some rhino there. So this is a southern white rhino. They're from Kenya and South Africa, and a few other little places. And they are the most sociable of the rhinos. And the white rhinos live in herds, and it's the second largest land animal after the elephant. They have very poor eyesight, but keen hearing and smell. And these animals are very aggressive when threatened and can charge at a speed of 35 miles per hour, which is kind of crazy. So here's a little look at the wildebeest again. They had them as we were going out of the park as well. Such cool markings and just such an interesting looking animal. Very kind of curious, like they would come up near the truck, but they didn't actually want to come over and take food by hand, but they were very happy to be tossed our pellets. Pretty cool. So I thought, what a really neat place. It was beautiful. I love the work that they're doing to save a lot of these animals that either are extinct in the wild or near extinct. So pretty cool. I hope you guys learned something interesting and enjoyed that as much as I did. I definitely loved visiting Texas. And if you're in Glen Rose, then check out Fossil Rim. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and bye for now.